It's us. We're back. Me and him. Will Johnson, the founder of Unite America First. Barry Nussbaum right here, the founder of American Truth Project. We have so much to talk about and a big breaking story. But first, we're going to start off with hello, Will.
How's it going, Barry?
All good here. Busy day. We got lots to talk about, starting with the DNC. There was a nationwide call for 30 to 40,000 Hamas supporters to come to Chicago. They had the money raised, they had the buses booked, and they were going to take over the streets of Chicago to show the DNC that Hamas wasn't going to step down. So turns out it was not 30 or 40,000, but a couple thousand showed up waving their Hamas flags, waving their Palestinian flags. This is a shot from the street. What's really interesting is these people were not only demonstrating to show their support for Hamas, but as well to influence what's going on inside the DNC. For some reason, my pictures are not loading today. What the heck? We don't have any pictures loading. You know what, Will? I'll tell you what.
I just saw the picture load.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I see the one on there with them out there saying, "Stop police crimes.
Okay.
Community control of police now." Really?
Well, all right.
And they're angry.
Thank you for telling me that, because I can't see it on my end. So you're going to be my narrator.
Okay.
What's curious about these protesters is the issue that they're not just demonstrating for the Palestinians in Gaza. They're protesting for support of Hamas. They're also protesting to defund the police. They're also protesting against America. They were burning American flags, as you and I showed on Tuesday's show, right? These are anarchists. And contrary to what some of the news reports have said, they broke through the barriers, as we showed on Tuesday, but there weren't that many of them, so the police rounded them up. I got a couple questions for you. Anybody going to go to jail and stay in jail? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, they'll go to jail, but then they'll be right back out. And it's cashless bail, so there's nothing to worry about it. They're not going to keep them there.
Are they going to get charged and prosecuted?
More than likely not, because this is still a Democrat-ran city. And they're just protesting. We don't want to put them in jail for protesting. Besides, the Wicked Witch of the West will just come and bail them out. Remember the Summer of Love? She bailed them out during the Summer of Love. We need to raise money so we can bail them out. That didn't happen. What are you talking about, Will Johnson? That never took place. Really? The Wicked Witch even tweeted about it.
Oh, yeah. Minnesota Freedom Fund, brother.
Oh, yeah, but that didn't happen.
$30 million. They bailed out rapists, robbers, people that committed felony assault, people that did shooting crimes, stabbing crimes. It wasn't just rioters. Everybody got bailed out.
Yep, everybody.
And a lot of them never came back. The bail was forfeited and off they went. And just so that our people know, Will, who was raising money for that fund?
The Wicked Witch.
I think you mean Kamala Harris, if the name just you forgot. Kamala Harris on her Twitter account was encouraging people to give to the Freedom Fund to bail out the protesters on the ground in Minneapolis after George Floyd. And they bailed out everybody. And we showed the video from the guy in charge of it. He said, I didn't even look at what they were charged with. I bailed out everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I call it the Wicked Witch because it's almost like we're watching the episode of, what is it? I was going to say Alice in Wonderland, but what is the one Click in the Hills? Wizard of Oz, right? The Wicked Witch, because you got the cowardly lion, which is Joe Biden. And then you got the 10 with no heart. That's just Tim. right? And then you got Toto, which is her husband. I mean, it's you can't make this up, and I mean you can't make it up.
You're going to turn into the best writer at ATP. You keep this stuff up.
And then you get the monkeys flying around, which was supposed to be really scary. That's Trans-Tifa and BLM. You can't make it up. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
So in Chicago, there's only a couple thousand of them. It says that victory to the Palestinian resistance signs, there were thousands of them spread on the floor where the protests were started. Nobody picked them up because people didn't show up. These are professionally made. Somebody spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in gear to get these protesters to Chicago, into the right mask, right? Having the American flag to burn, the Israeli flag to burn, to carry the right signs against the police, against the government. I saw interviews with some of these people that they are full-blown anarchists. They don't even want the Democrats to win. They want the country to fall.
You know what, Barry? I think it's all a facade. I think it's all for show. I think there's a couple of things here. This is my personal opinion on this. I think they're out there demonstrating against the DNC because they know that they can put pressure on the DNC to get what they want. Apply the pressure, keep applying the pressure. At some point, the DNC will cave in, right? But because you notice they didn't do this at the RNC, because the RNC we've had it. You tried to take out our president. You tried to end the life of our president. We're not buying it. So don't even come here. You're gonna come and find out. Right. So they didn't do it at the RNC, but they're going to the DNC because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they're actually against Israel. This is all a facade. This is all a trick. It's all a distraction. And the main reason what I believe is a distraction, Barry, is because there's a whole bunch of black people there protesting against the DNC. So what do? Bring in these pro-Hamas Palestinian terrorists to do the protesting. So then that way the media would not pay attention to all the black people, but they'll pay attention to Trans-Tifa and the pro-Hamas Palestinian terrorists protesting against the DNC.
And it's all going to be over tonight. Woo, finally.
Yeah.
All right. We got to do the big story of the day. The word is out everywhere. Candace Owens has broke the internet again. She has gone completely over the rainbow and landed in a big pile of her own making.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
We're doing it again. We've got to do another show on her, but it's getting weirder. She now says that people that support Israel, which is Zionists from the Bible, the return to Zion, which is Jerusalem, are not Jews. I'm not making this up. I'm quoting. But they're demon worshipers. She's uncovered this. More Wikipedia research, apparently. And she said that modern day Israel was founded in 1948 for the purpose of being a safe haven for pedophiles. That was the purpose of the country. It had nothing to do with Jews going back to having their country again after several thousand years, the home of the Jewish prophets, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the home of Jesus, all the disciples who were Jews, the place where the temples were. All wrong. She has figured out that Israel was founded as a home for people that abuse children. Here's a couple of her nutty rants. Here's rant number 1.
Before they decided to establish Israel as a country, I know you've read like the short version in the classroom, and it was like, oh, the Holocaust happened, and then we realized that Israel needs a state. No, that's not how it went down. That's not how it went down at the F all, okay? Catholics and Christians were going missing on Passover, and then they would find bodies, okay, across Europe, and they were able to trace them back to Jews. Blood libel. They weren't Jews, okay? These were Frankists. And so just like Leo Frank killed Mary Fagan on Passover back in 1913 or 1914, I can't remember the exact date, he did it during Passover for a reason. This Frankist cult, which is masquerading behind Jews, still participates in this shit to this day. Okay. Why would you want, as a small nation that is the size of New Jersey, okay, why would you want the pedophiles to flee there? Like, why would you want the pedophiles to be procreating? Unless the nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists. And it's looking like Theodore Herzl's family was from the exact same area in Moravia and in Bohemia where the Frankist cult was founded. Crazy. Crazy when you get into his family. That, like, maybe Theodore Herzl, who wrote in a book that he didn't care how many Jews had to die for him to get the state of Israel, like, maybe he was not actually a Torah worshiping Jew. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. And by throwing out some ideas, I mean, I've read a ton of books and I've figured it out. Okay. I am just like so over the idea that Israel is our ally and friend. If another person says that stupid statement, I'm going to personally punch you in the face. I am. It's going to be me. That's a joke. Don't take this video off of Twitter. Wink.
Okay, so just to be clear, Israel was founded after Christians were being found dead in Europe, killed by people that then became Israelis. And she looked it up, and she has a theory, and she's pretty sure about this because she read some books. Everything she just said is bizarre lies. Nobody is saying this except Candace Owens. And apparently these Christians were being killed on Passover as some kind of religious event, which has been a blood libel against the Jewish people since the Middle Ages, which justified mass murder of Jews, riling up villagers thinking that Jews were sacrificing Christian children. So now she's quoting from that. Here's video number 2. I've got about 8 of them, but I don't want to make the whole show about her.
Let me.
Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed. like literally, because speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Like, excuse my language, but like, that is not normal. Okay, it's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not, he's a sitting president. I mean, obviously my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world, except for the one that, took over ours. And that's the truth, okay? We are an occupied nation. And if it's going to take women.
Okay, so let's go over these charges. Israel has occupied the United States and is running the United States. Okay. Number 2, Israel killed John F. Kennedy. And she goes on in the video and explains that she has proof of that. Number 3, they're going to kill her. She did say in a later video that if she's killed, it's the Zionists that killed me. And that everyone that talks about Israel has to put in their statement, don't kill me, or they will be killed. Did I miss anything?
Barry. So everyone that she said that's going to kill her, the same people that killed JFK. But everyone that was involved with the killing of JFK has died and moved on. So were they going to come back from the grave and kill her?
You're ruining the story, Will.
I'm trying to understand.
I know, but
I mean, and on top of that, is she that important that they will even take the time to plan to kill her? I mean, is she that important? I don't think she is.
Well, her family is pretty upset with her, and that's the second part of the segment that we've got to go over. Her father-in-law, the father of her husband, who's George Farmer, the father-in-law is Lord Michael Farmer. He is a member of the House of Lords. That makes him sort of royalty in England. And he got so upset about these various statements of his daughter-in-law. I'm going to read a bunch of statements from Lord Farmer, published, by the way, on X. There's a bunch of them. Quote, in view of public comments from a high-profile member of my family, Candace, I want to put my own views on anti-Semitism and Israel's current military campaign in Gaza on the public record, Farmer wrote, noting that the best man at my wedding and my lifelong friend is Jewish. Distancing himself from Owen's remarks, where she claimed modern Israel was founded by pedophiles, the aristocrat, who is one of Britain's wealthiest businessmen, noted that the sadism of Jew hatred lay dormant in the heart of everyone. He said, quote, as a teenager, growing up in the wake of World War II, I became very aware of the cruelty meted out before and during the conflict against the Jewish people because they were Jewish. I found it impossible to comprehend how humans could intentionally be as cruel as possible to others. Whilst the general opinion in Britain was that it could never happen here, even then I thought, really? And he emphasized, as a young man, he had worked with Jewish people in London. The boss on one of my first jobs had come to Britain on a kinder transport. For those that don't know, that's when Jewish families gave up their children and sent them on trains to England, and they went to the concentration camps. They gave their children away so their children would live. It would have happened to me had my mother been pregnant, but I was born here. He praises Israel as a, quote, rare example of democracy in the Middle East, a liberal state government governed by the rule of law. And he says the plight of civilians in Gaza is so utterly appalling, but I see Israel has little option but to fight its enemy where it chooses to hide itself. It hides itself in tunnels under key infrastructure and behind innocent civilians. We cannot forget the large number of innocent hostages that were taken. Many have died, and some are still missing. Israel faces an existential threat as Hamas, the terror organization, has stated their intention to destroy it. And he concludes that he, Lord Farmer, is the Christian deputy chair of the Council for Christians and Jews, which was started in 1942 as a bulwark against anti-Semitism, and he works for the monarch to do it. And then commentator after commentator after commentator is talking about the mental breakdown of Candace Owen. I don't know what else to call it. And
well, you know what, Barry?
Fox
Candace
News,
Owens,
etc.
Yeah, I was gonna say Candace Owens was a rising star. She was a star. I mean, she had a bright, extremely bright future. I mean, she could have actually ran for, Congress. She could have became a senator if she had chosen to, or a House representative. I mean, she had a really bright future, but she's gone off the deep end, completely gone off the deep end. And as I mentioned before, she's done this because she's a scorned woman. She's bitter. She's angry with the different organizations that she worked with in the past. And now this is her saying, I'm going to get you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to fix you. I'm going to show the world who you really are by lying to the world, going on Wikipedia, getting information. I mean, she knows better. She knows better. Now, if we didn't know who Candace Owens was from the get-go and we have this crazy woman coming out speaking about this, we wouldn't even be talking about her. Because she used to be on the up and up. She used to be straight and narrow, straight down the path. She was on it. She didn't deal with this stupidity. But now she's just gone completely batty, completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and she's lost every rational thinking when it comes to this. Israel is an ally to the United States of America. It kind of sounds like she's joining side with the pro-Hamas Palestinian terrorists. I mean, just come out and say it. Just come out and say it. If you are a pro-Hamas Palestinian terrorist, just go ahead and say it, and we'll proceed as such. But she's still trying to act like she's riding down the middle, like she's just looking at information. She's just bringing information to the forefront to get people to believe a certain thing. She's lying. Why? You know what? People have done me wrong in the past, Barry. And you know what I did?
Tell me.
I moved on. But she's bitter. Well, I mean, she's extremely bitter.
as we talked about before we came on the air, it's not 1 or 2 or 3 videos. It's a couple dozen statements, and they're coming out of her platform of millions almost every day now. She's obsessed with Jews. She's obsessed with Israel. And like you said, she was the rising star in the conservative movement. And now everyone wants to know if she's had a breakdown.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I wonder how she feels about with President Trump being named locations in Israel. I guess she's against Trump now too.
I would think so, because that's where all the pedophilia supporters are, right?
That's a new one for me.
It's so crazy. Like, Zionists are not even Jews. I'm a Zionist. I believe in the state of Israel as a homeland for the Jewish people. You're a Zionist because you believe in the homeland for the Jewish people. Biden believes in it. Trump believes in it.
Biden doesn't believe in it.
Oh, he said he did.
He's lying, just like Chuck Schumer. I mean, they're lying. And that's, it's such a facade. They're lying because they want the Jewish community to continue pouring money into them. And the only reason why, really quick, the only reason why we have any military ships over in Israel right now, Barry, is because of the resources that Israel has. Israel is sitting on, which I'm pretty sure, one of the largest oil reserves on planet Earth. I mean, it really is. And a lot of people don't know this, right? And the only reason why we're there, and the only reason why we're there is because of the resources. If Israel didn't have the resources, they wouldn't care about Israel. That's the only reason why they care. Because if they cared about, oh my goodness, a genocide is happening, or oh my goodness, they're getting ready to get attacked by Hamas and the Houthis and Yemen and Iran and everywhere else. If it was a nation in Africa, if it was the same as that, they wouldn't care. But because they have the resources, they're there. They don't care about Israel. They don't.
Well, we'll see. Speaking of crazy people, the president of Turkey, President Erdogan, has now threatened to invade Israel. I'm serious. And he has talked about starting a war with Israel to support Hamas. Before Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas, was killed. Can you see the picture on your screen?
I can.
Okay, because I don't have monitor on today. That's Haniyeh with Erdogan before Israel caused them to have an end of life incident, shall we say?
A goodbye moment.
It was like he had a what do they call that? An unlived moment.
But he was so loving, Barry. He was so compassionate. He was caring.
This is the guy that pulled the trigger on October 7th, and Israel vowed to get him, and they got him. They happened to get him in Iran, but he was got. And now Erdogan is being threatened with being kicked out of NATO. You're not allowed to threaten a country with war. For some weird reason, Turkey is still in NATO. I just don't understand it at all. They shouldn't be in NATO, quite frankly, because they're against America, they're against Israel, and they make really wild pro-Hamas, pro-Muslim Brotherhood statements about every hour and a half. They support terrorism all over the Middle East, and yet they're in NATO. Go figure.
Well, I don't trust NATO either. I don't trust NATO.
Me neither.
That's the reason why they're still in there, because NATO is no different than the United Nations. They have this vendetta against Israel, and they want this war to go off against Israel. They want war to go off because war is big money. They're looking to make a lot of money, and also there's this whole thing with population control that comes into play too. But NATO, NATO, they're the part of the reason why there's an issue between Russia and Ukraine right now. Because Zelensky was trying to become part of NATO, and he went ahead and did the paperwork, and Putin said, if you do the paperwork, it's going to be a game on. And he said, well, I don't care. We're going to do it anyways. And then Joe Biden not too long ago said that they're working really hard to bring Ukraine in as a part of NATO. NATO is just as corrupt as any other government on planet Earth.
Speaking about corruption, good segue. I assume the picture of Erdogan is gone?
Yep.
Good. The Palestinian Authority, as we know, is very active with their pay for slave program. What that means is they are paying Palestinians who killed Jews a fortune. They now have added 899 Gazans for the pay for slave program, and another 578 since October 7th. Some that were captured fighting against the IDF, some that were captured in Israel after the massacre. And I'm going to show you a chart that is absolutely unbelievable. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, let's go through it together. This is what, I can see it now. Yay. Palestinian Authority salaries to terrorists. If you go to prison for 1 to 3 years, you get $372 a month. If you get sentenced to up to 5 years, you get $500 a month. And then on and on and on and on and on, depending on how long you're in prison and how much your wife gets and how much your child gets, and if you live in Jerusalem or you live in Israel and so on. And if you're dead, you get a lot more and your family gets it. So the biggest part of their budget is paying people to kill Jews. That's a fact. Now, Trump, God bless him for this, when he was president, 45th president, he made a big deal with the head of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, and he said, if you don't cut off the pay for slave program, I'm cutting off all money to you, all aid to you, and you're out. And what happened? In the White House, Mahmoud Abbas promised President Trump to his face he was canceling the program. He went back to Ramallah, where his lavish headquarters are, and his massive home, and his $1 billion. And what happened? In Arabic, he said, I will never cut off the pay for slave program. That was translated for President Trump the same day. Trump cut off the money. God bless him. What was the first thing that Biden did when he got to the White House, Will?
Put it back
on the money again. He put it back.
Put it back.
Exactly right. So Americans are paying Palestinians to kill Israeli Jews. I'll say it again. Your tax dollars and my tax dollars and the thousands of people watching our shows are paying Arabs to kill Jews. How disgusting is that? And the people that perpetrated this mass murder on October 7th are making the big money. Unbelievable. The budget is now up to $65 million going out to these people.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Who said crime doesn't pay?
Murder pays the best. and if you die committing murder, your family gets a fortune. Because don't forget, these people think they're going to the place where the virgins are all lined up and the blah, 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 if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what their religion teaches them.
Yeah, because, death is still sweeter than honey.
That's what they say. And they say, we will win because we worship death and the Jews worship life. Quite a slogan, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Barry, I'm sitting there thinking, it's just really disgusting. It's really disgusting to sit here and think that they would pay these people to end their lives, to go to the extent of their children even getting involved in this. And it's like an incentive. If you end the life of your family member, if you go out there and you do this, you'll get X amount of dollars. And be honest with you, they don't know if their family's going to get that money when they're gone. They're going off the honor system. It's like really stupid. But we know for a fact that the U.S. government is funding this nonsense. We know it. The U.S. government is funding it.
And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will continue it because it's the Biden-Harris plan.
Communist Harris. Yep.
Oh, boy. Moving on to some good news. I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but I used to just love Shaquille O'Neal. He won a whole bunch of NBA prizes, championships with the Lakers. I think they had 3 titles with the Lakers and 1 with the Miami Heat. But more important than his basketball is he's a great man. He's incredibly generous with his family, with children, with the foundation he has, and so on. And let me tell you what he did after October 7th. There's a camp in Canada called Camp Timberline, and they brought over children who survived the massacre on October 7th. So what did Shaq do? Send out this video.
Shalom, this is Shaquille O'Neal. I just want to give you guys a shout out, let you know I love you. To all the amazing children from the One family, I know you came from far and far away. Hope you're having a good time. We love you so very much. Thank you for coming, and we'll talk to you soon. All right? Shalom, Barak Hashem, Lashana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.
I'll translate. He's thanking God for bringing them. He's blessing them with the Sabbath, and then he's saying hello, goodbye, and peace, shalom, all in Hebrew. What an amazing man. And apparently the kids went crazy because this guy's known all over the world. I mean, he's that big a hero, and he's better as a man even than a basketball player.
I'm pretty sure Candace Owen will have some words about him here shortly. She's gonna say, "Meet me on the court, Shaq. I'm gonna take you down."
but to finish in Hebrew, Baruch Hashem, which is praise God, Lashana Tova, have a happy New Year, and Shabbat Shalom, have a peaceful Sabbath. To these kids that have been through so much trauma, what a great man he is. Very impressive. I'm a fan for life after watching that. I already was, but that's pretty impressive stuff. Shifting back to the more mundane here with what's going on with Tim Walz, more and more people are coming out, Will Johnson, and saying you have no idea how bad this guy is. I'm talking about people from Minnesota, or as they call it, Minnesota. They are really, really riled up about him. Now, we showed a video last week of Walz having cops walking down the street shooting at citizens who were outside on their own porches during COVID.
Paintballs, right?
Yep. And boy, do those hurt. I took my kids paintballing. I had black and blue marks for weeks. And the one lady on that one video was screaming because she got shot in the crotch by a cop who. Well, I mean,
it's one thing when you're out there with the kids and the kids shooting at you, you're shooting at them, and you're like, okay, I'll take that one. It's kind of, I mean, it is painful, but it's fun, because it's like the adrenaline, right? But when you have police officers going down the street shooting at you because you're standing outside, but this is the same guy that said, mind your own darn business.
Oh boy. Unbelievable.
You see how I said
it? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, but he's a total tyrant. He's right up communist Hera alley, right up her alley. They both have the same communistic ideology, and he's a lot worse than she is. I mean, just Joe Biden was really bad. She's a lot worse than Joe Biden, and he's a lot worse than she is, or at least they're tit for tat. I mean, they're right there with each other.
Well, let me tell you what this cop said. There's a retired lieutenant in the Minnesota State Police, so he's way up there, right? He said, quote, Walz is not a moderate. He's never been a moderate. And here in Minnesota, he's been anti-police. He's raised taxes. It was plain, the plain speaker rep for Tim Walz from the American heartland, blah, 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 is wrong, and that's not what he is. They say he's far, far left. He hates the police. He's in favor of taxes. He would not support police families. And here's a killer, which I found really disgusting. He wouldn't send in the National Guard to stop the riots when the mayor, who's a left-wing progressive Democrat in Minneapolis, was begging for the National Guard. He wouldn't send them in because he doesn't like the police. And here's the killer. This just shocked the heck out of me. Tim Walz's wife, Gwen, said that she kept her windows open during the riots so she can inhale the sweet smell of the people fighting for justice. She said, we had more sleepless nights during the riots. I could smell the burning tires, and that was a very real thing. I kept the windows open as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening. Oh, boy, is that insane.
Yeah. It's like I can smell I love smelling the smell of A-bomb first thing in the morning.
Yeah, unbelievable. This and she's going to be the, what do you call it? The second lady, I guess. The
second first lady.
Yes.
Yeah,
whatever you say. I don't know.
No, that's what they want her to be, but she's not going to be it. Unless they do some shenanigans. Okay. Other than that, not going to happen.
Oh, boy.
Can I say it that way? Shenanigans?
It's okay with me.
I just don't want to say the obvious, right? I think everyone understands what I'm saying, because if you say what they're actually probably going to try to do, then they'll probably take the video down, and we don't want that. We want the video to stay up.
Your favorite presidential candidate?
Trump.
Oh, okay, second favorite. Kamala Harris proclaimed her wokeness. Now, before I show you the video, remember the companies that went woke and what happened to them. Target with their trans flag, trans clothing department right in the front of the store, stock down billions. Bud Light hiring a trans spokesperson, value down billions. Nobody drinks Bud Light anymore. A bunch of companies adopted wokeness and rescinded it. Harley Davidson went woke.
Yep.
The Harley rider said, we're out. We'll buy anything. And the company came back, no, never mind. We're not doing that anymore. Tractor Supply, the largest seller of feed in America. There's 1,500 stores. They apologized and canceled all the woke policies. A bunch of the airlines are still doing it, but wokeness got thrown out of Twitter, and 2/3 of the employees left. Elon Musk was not crying about it. But let me show you what Kamala Harris's position is on being woke.
Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
It's
really, Barry,
it's not funny, Will.
No, it's not funny. And she's on that panel. You know, I'm sitting there looking at actually, I just saw that the other day, and she's on there on that panel, and she, everyone needs to stay woke. Cackle, cackle, cackle. And then she said, some people need to be extra woke. Cackle, cackle, cackle. And they're just sitting there looking at her, wondering to themselves, what's so funny? What's so funny? She's an embarrassment. She's totally an embarrassment. And I can't believe that our country is in this position with this wicked witch being there. I mean, what in the world? No one
close
even
to being president. That close.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. One hiccup. not even a heartbeat, one hiccup away from being there. And now in this position, not a single vote came across, not a single one. And rumor has it, Barry, that Nancy Pelosi was, when they were in the room, they were getting ready to say, okay, well, we're going to open it up, make it open to other candidates, make it open to the people in the Democrat Party. And Kamala Harris, being the last one in the room, like they constantly been saying here lately, she was the deciding factor on it. She said, no, it's going to be me. Coup d'etat all the way. Second time in my lifetime. Second time. And if people think that they're not going to do the shenanigans again, you've been sadly mistaken. You mean to tell me they did it then? They just did it again? And you think they're not going to try to do it again? I mean, come on. Really?
I find it unbelievable. Will, you got to emphasize what you said a second ago. The Democrat presidential candidate didn't get one single vote.
Not a single one.
The vice presidential candidate didn't get one single vote.
Not a
the
single
guy
one.
that got 11 million votes, they launched a coup against him, against his will, and forced him out.
Yep.
The party is named Democrat Party, and they're saving democracy by having a dictatorship of the elites that you don't even know who's pulling the strings. Holy cow.
Yeah.
If I was a Democrat, I'd be furious.
Yeah. If this was the other way around, they would say, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? This is not how we run things in this country. But you know what, Barry? They love changing the rules of the game in the middle of the game. This is not who we want. We're losing this. We're losing this game. We're losing the game. We have our quarterback in there, and the quarterback just got 14 million votes. But you know what? We're looking at the other team, and the other team, they look really good. We're losing to them right now. We're in the fourth quarter. We're losing to them. You got to go. We got to swap out the team. We don't have to swap out everybody on the team, but we got to swap out the quarterback because you're not going there. And they said, well, who do you have? Do you have a person that you voted for? Nope. We're just going to install this person. And then we're going to put out this whole fake thing to tell everyone that we're joyful now, Barry. Oh, joy, joy, joy. It's all joyful. We're all happy. Kumbaya. We're all coming together. And not like those bad Republicans, those bad mega extremist Republicans. They're talking about doom and gloom. They're so upset about everything. But we're happy over here. We're looking how to make everyone happy. We're looking to give everyone rights to take to end the life of the unborn child. We're so happy about putting your children on puberty blockers. We're so happy about putting books in schools that you disagree with. But we're going to conveniently leave out the detail that is child pornography. We won't say that part out loud. We'll just say that you're wanting to ban books. That's good enough because then you're like, oh, how dare you want to ban books? This is what we're seeing. This is our society. It's collapsing. It is straight up collapsing.
I got nothing to add. It's a good summary. It's pathetic.
I mean, it's so maddening.
Yeah. Let me show you, Will Johnson, how bad it is, and it's already here. This is an imam, which is a Muslim preacher, and well, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to watch it and think it's in Saudi Arabia or Oman or Morocco or Gaza, but it's not. It's in New Jersey. I want you to watch the transcription of what he's saying.
Passing away, fighting for the cause of the Muslims, fighting against oppression and injustice, being a strong believer and dying in the way of Allah. There's nothing better than it. Your injuries and your scars will be a witness for you on the day of judgment. The wounds and the blood of the shaheed smell better than the greatest of all musk. It is an honor to die a martyr, because I would rather die a martyr than die on my couch watching television, or die from a heart attack at old age, or die from any natural cause. People die natural causes, no problem. I'm saying it's a beautiful thing to die a martyr. He's so happy he died because he got shahada. Every day there's 150 shuhada that pass away in Gaza. but they're not dead, they're alive. They're all happy with what they got. They're calling out all of Gaza to come die with them because it's amazing. They're having a good time. But one of the great leaders and people of Palestine passed away. He was killed. And what I want to say is that he was a good man, and we know good of him. And he was working on a peace treaty, and he was martyred. And we are happy for him that he was martyred because we're Muslim and we have Islamic concepts. Islam is what teaches us how to think and how to have perspective. So we ask Allah to grant him and all of the martyrs of Gaza the highest levels of Shahada, and the Jannah is amazing. There's no difficulty in Jannah. There's no nasab in Jannah. There's no tired in Jannah. Meat, happiness, rivers, always happy. No bad sleep in Jannah. Good sleep every day. Even if you don't get good sleep, it's still good. And he responds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, "Ma as'al wa atamanna illa an turudduni." I will not ask for anything. Allah, there's nothing that I could possibly want except for you to return me to dunya. Please let me go back to dunya. Let me go back to this dunya so I could fight again and die again a shaheed. I want to go back and die 10 times. I want to go back and get killed, and you resurrect me again, and I die and I get killed again. I want to over and over and over again. However it is that the shaheed gets killed in battle, he doesn't find any pain to it, except as if you get pierced by an ant. An ant bite is it's like a small little bite. You don't realize it sometimes because of how light it is. Reward, reward, reward. Every second he's reward, and he's dead, and it's reward up until Yawm al-Qiyamah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us understanding, and to grant us shahada, and to grant us the want to be shuhada. And they could kill all they want. They could do all they want. This is inshallah an opening to the liberation of Masjid al-Aqsa in Palestine. And we ask Allah to liberate Masjid al-Aqsa in Palestine.
That's New Jersey, and he's encouraging the people in his mosque to die as martyrs, as shaheeds, which means as warriors for Islam, blowing themselves up, planting a bomb, getting shot by police, because that's better than dying on your couch watching television. And that and when you die,
old age.
Right. And if you die committing one of these acts, remember, you're fulfilling the Prophet Muhammad's dictates, then every day is a great day, and you feel no pain, and you sleep great. Even if you don't feel great, sleep great. It's great. And you've got everything you want, and you're so happy, and on and on and on and on and on. He's encouraging murder. He's a preacher in New Jersey. Is that freedom of speech, or is that encouragement of death?
That's encouraging violence, harm to others, death. The FBI should be looking into this, should be monitoring him, and should be even questioning him. I mean, it really is. But if you go on somewhere and you talk about the sodomy community, talk about the sodomites, they will pay you a visit. If you go stand in front of an abortion clinic and even pray and say that you're against it, they will pay you a visit. But you have these people coming into the country saying being martyrs, taking their own lives and taking other people with them. Oh, that's just practicing their religion. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. And I think that the sleeper cells that they have in the country have the same mindset that he has. And between now and November, I suspect that we're going to see them put that to practice. I hope that I'm wrong, Barry. I pray that I'm wrong. But they did a report the other day, and they said there was how many? Like 1,000 of them that they didn't know where they were. Is a ridiculous number.
They lost track of them.
Yeah, and they said they apprehended 50 of them, but all the rest of them, yeah, we don't know where they are.
Look how many
really?
Look how many it took to bring down the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and almost the White House.
Yeah,
it doesn't take but a dozen, you know.
No, it doesn't. So imagine with all of them in the country, and they probably know about all of them, and they said, okay, you know what, go ahead, get there, do your thing, prepare to do the worst.
Just be warned, all of you out there, that the fact of the matter is there are preachers like this gentleman we just showed, encouraging murder of Americans.
Yeah.
Right now, today, that's New Jersey. And we've shown
Yeah.
videos of the same thing from Detroit and from Minnesota and from Dallas, Texas, and from Riverside County. They are everywhere. And these are the sermons they're giving, encouraging people to suicide themselves in the cause and encouraging them with all the rewards they will get on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, come on. It's, you know, they say it all the time. Death is sweeter than honey.
Wow. And the first time
You
something
know what?
really bad happens,
Yeah.
we're going to say, well, happens again, I should say. Remember that there was an Army guy that shot up an Army base in Texas. He's still in prison. He said he did it for Allah. Remember a few years ago? It's already happened. And it happened at the World Trade Center before it was blown up by the plane. They had the bomb in the parking garage and people died. This stuff is going on. We're just not paying attention.
Yeah, we're not paying
as a
attention.
government. Yeah, it's not in the press.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up today with a statistic that I think is very relevant considering what's going on now at the Democrat National Convention. I'm going to read you some statistics.
Barry, really quick.
Sure.
I want to say thank you for saying it correctly. Because if you go look at C-SPAN, you look at CNN, you look at MSDNC, you look at all of the government state media outlets, at the bottom of their caption, they put Democratic National Convention. And you're saying Democrat National Convention because there's nothing democratic about them, which is mind-blowing that they would call it that when Kamala Harris didn't get a single vote. I just had to bring it up. I just want to say thank you for saying it correctly.
Thank you for noticing, because it's the Democrat Party.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's a little trivia for our audience today. As the Democrats are wrapping up their convention in Chicago, there's a startling statistic that I want everyone to listen to. Biden talks about Bidenomics, and Harris talks about how great Bidenomics is all the time with a big smile, and then she kind of laughs. How great
cackle.
How Bidenomics has turned everything around, and how Democrat policies, all they need is 4 more years and they can do more of it. Listen to this. The 10 poorest cities in America. Here's the whole list in order, determined by the percentage of population below the poverty line. I'm going to read you the cities, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Detroit, 32.5%. I mean, 32.5% of the people don't have enough money to feed themselves.
Nope.
Buffalo, 29.9. Cincinnati, 27.8. Cleveland, 27. Miami, 26.9. St. Louis, 26.8. El Paso, 26.4. Milwaukee, 26.2. Philadelphia, 25.1. Newark, 24.2. Got the list? Now let me ask you the question. Is the mayor a Democrat or Republican in Detroit?
Democrat.
Bingo. Buffalo, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
Cincinnati, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
Cleveland, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
Miami, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
St. Louis, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
El Paso, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat. These are
Milwaukee. I know, you're doing great so far. Milwaukee, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
Philadelphia, Democrat or Republican?
Oh, that's a tough one. Democrat.
Excellent. And Newark, Democrat or Republican?
Of course, Democrat.
Every single answer by Will Johnson is correct. The 10 poorest cities in America are run by Democrat administrations. And not one city on this list has had a Republican mayor since 1989.
I mean, what, you know what, Bear, how does the saying go? Keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, expecting different results means what?
Insanity.
Why? Every 2 to 4 years, oh, we're here for you. We're going to do this for you. And you know what? I kind of thought you were going to go in this route because you've heard Joe Biden and Kamala Harris come out talking about the economy. The economy is great. The economy is great. The economy is great. And now all of a sudden, we're going to fix the economy. We're going to go after the grocery stores. I mean, wait a minute. Weren't you just telling everyone that the economy is great? But now you're going to come and fix the economy because of all the price gouging that's taking place in the grocery stores. And on top of that, Barry, really quick, kind of goes along with this because all the crime that's happening in these Democrat-ran cities and all of the poverty that's taking place. Same thing with the jobs report that they just released. 818 million fake jobs that they put out there, and it was leaked from the White House. And now they're trying to act like that didn't even happen. Barry, they're saying that President Trump lied about those numbers when it came out of Joe Biden's administration.
Let me add to your insane list. Listen to this. 12 out of the last 16 years has been a Democrat administration at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Including the last almost 4 years.
Yep.
Why is it? This just blows my mind. I don't understand this. You're a smart guy. You explain it because I don't get it. How can the Democrats be proposing all these programs to fix all these problems that they caused? They've been in power for 12 of the last 16 years.
Yes.
How is it Trump's fault? Can you explain that to me?
It's insanity.
They're going to fix grocery prices. They're going to fix energy prices. They're going to fix unemployment. They're going to fix inflation. They're going to fix wars overseas. They're going to fix the southern border. They're going to fix drug prices. They've been running the place. They're in charge now.
Yes. And that's another good one. Insulin. $35 insulin. And they're saying President Trump is trying to steal the idea that he did the 35 insulin when he said it on the Rose Garden when he was in the office. And then all of a sudden, that's not his idea. He didn't come up with that. Kamala Harris did, just like taxes on tips. No more taxes on tips. That's Kamala Harris's idea. What are you talking about? President Trump is stealing everything.
Well, he stole the idea before she got the time to tell everyone that she thought of it 3 months after he did.
Yeah. He just said it before she said it. Her idea. Barry, we're dealing with so many unstable people, not just in the government, but in the mainstream media, on social media. We're dealing with unstable people because these people actually believe the nonsense and the lies that's coming out of the Democrat Party. They don't even want to question it. It's like, nope, this is what they're saying. This is what they're telling us. And really quick, with the job numbers, the 818, I forget. Yeah, 818,000. I forget the lady, what her name is, but she's in a position where she's over the job market for this. And she was on, I think it was CBS or one of them or MSNBC, and they were asking her about it. And they said, well, I don't believe it because Trump talked about it. And it came out of the Biden administration, but because Trump talked about it, it's not true.
Makes total sense to me. I got to ask you one more prediction before we go, because you got 10 out of 10 on the top 10 poorest cities in America, naming. I don't know how you did it. It's just amazing. Will Johnson's psychic. 10 out of 10 in a row. That's unbelievable. Do you think any of these cities is going to have a Republican administration next election?
You know what? I'm going to go on a whim and say yes. The reason being, yeah. because I can't tell you. Now, of course, when you listen to the government state media and you look at social media, they're all pushing it out there like everyone is jumping behind this joy, right? Joy. They're all supporting joy in color, right? Forget about who created all this stuff, but they're leaving out the key details that the American people are not stupid. I mean, you're playing us. And people seeing it, you're playing us. You're trying to convince us to believe everything that you just did to us, and we need to continue supporting you. I mean, they can't even get their lies straight. I mean, just like when you had Michelle Obama go on stage, and she basically threw Joe Biden under the bus, saying that, oh, all of a sudden, look at this. She said, we were so dry, we were so sad, we were so down, but now we got energy. Really? No energy with Joe. They just threw Joe under the bus. I mean, it's the same thing with all of this. They were not happy with the Democrat Party. Now they have someone that's just selected that won't even do any interviews because dumber than a bag of rocks. Can't even do what you and I are doing, Barry. That's sad. I mean, can't sit there and do what you. I mean, can you imagine if you could get her to sit down with you, Barry, just for 15 minutes?
Oh, I'd love it. I would just love it. If you're out there, Ms. Harris, you're invited on ATP any day. In fact, why don't you get a twofer and you can do Unite America First at the same day? Woo-hoo. Well,
never
great
happened.
show. Thank you very much. It's awesome. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. You know where to find us. Bye for now.